Friends, colleagues, fellow travelers on this incredible journey of life, I stand before you today to speak about something fundamental to our growth, our happiness, and our ultimate potential. It's not a secret formula or a magical shortcut, but a way of thinking, a perspective that can transform the way we approach challenges, setbacks, and even our own abilities. I'm talking about cultivating a growth mindset. For too long, many of us have operated under the sway of what psychologist Carol Dweck calls a fixed mindset. This is the belief that our talents and intelligence are largely static, predetermined traits. We might think, I'm just not good at math, or I'm naturally talented in art. While innate abilities certainly exist, the fixed mindset traps us in a box, limiting our potential for growth and resilience. When we believe our abilities are fixed, we tend to avoid challenges because they might expose our perceived limitations. We fear failure because it confirms our inadequacy. We become threatened by the success of others, seeing it as a reflection of our own shortcomings. Feedback becomes a personal attack rather than an opportunity for learning. Imagine a student who believes their intelligence is fixed. When faced with a difficult problem, they might quickly become discouraged, thinking, I'm just not smart enough to solve this. They might give up easily, avoid seeking help for fear of appearing incompetent, and ultimately limit their learning. Now contrast this with a student who operates with a growth mindset. When confronted with the same challenging problem, they see it as an opportunity to learn and grow. They might think, this is tough, but I can figure it out with effort and persistence. They are more likely to seek help, try different strategies, and view mistakes as valuable learning experiences. The difference is profound. The fixed mindset creates a world of limitations, where potential is capped and effort is seen as a sign of lacking ability. The growth mindset, on the other hand, unlocks a universe of possibilities, where potential is limitless and effort is the path to mastery. It's the belief that our abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work, that brains and talent are just the starting point. Cultivating a growth mindset is not about denying natural talents or pretending that everyone can become a world-class expert in everything. It's about recognizing that our capabilities are not set in stone, and that through deliberate practice, perseverance, and a willingness to learn, we can continuously improve and expand our horizons. It's about embracing the journey of learning and growth, rather than fixating solely on the destination or the perceived level of innate talent. So, how do we make this fundamental shift in our thinking? It's a process, not an overnight transformation, and it requires conscious effort and self-awareness, but the rewards are immeasurable. Let's explore some key strategies for nurturing a growth mindset within ourselves and fostering it in those around us. First and foremost, we must learn to embrace challenges. Instead of viewing difficult tasks as threats that might expose our weaknesses, we should see them as opportunities for growth. Think of a challenging project at work, a complex skill you've always wanted to learn, or even a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. These are not obstacles to be feared, but rather stepping stones to becoming more capable and resilient. When we actively seek out challenges, we push ourselves beyond our comfort zones, and it is in this space of discomfort that true learning and growth occur. Remember that feeling of accomplishment after tackling something you initially thought was beyond your reach? That's the power of embracing challenges. Secondly, we need to develop a fascination with learning. A growth mindset thrives on curiosity and a genuine desire to expand our knowledge and skills. Approach new information with enthusiasm, ask questions, and seek out opportunities to learn. This could involve reading books, taking courses, attending workshops, or simply engaging in conversations with people who have different perspectives. When we are driven by a love of learning, effort becomes less of a burden and more of an enjoyable exploration. Think about something you are truly passionate about. Doesn't learning more about it feel exciting rather than like work? We can cultivate this same sense of curiosity in other areas of our lives. Thirdly, we must learn to value effort as the path to mastery. In a fixed mindset, effort is often seen as a sign of low ability. If you have to work hard at something, it means you're not naturally good at it. In a growth mindset, however, effort is celebrated as the key to unlocking our potential. Just like an athlete trains rigorously to improve their performance, or a musician practices diligently to master an instrument, we need to recognize that sustained effort is essential for developing any skill or ability. Embrace the hard work, the dedication, and the perseverance that are required to achieve meaningful growth. Remember, even the most talented individuals have had to put in countless hours of practice to reach their level of expertise. Fourthly, we need to learn from criticism. In a fixed mindset, feedback is often perceived as a personal attack, a judgment of our inherent abilities. We might become defensive, dismissive, or even avoid seeking feedback altogether. In a growth mindset, however, feedback is seen as valuable information that can help us learn and improve. Approach criticism with an open mind, listen actively, and seek to understand the perspective of the person providing it. Ask clarifying questions and focus on how you can use the feedback to grow. It takes courage to be open to criticism, but it is a crucial ingredient in the recipe for growth. Fifthly, we must cultivate resilience in the face of setbacks. Failure is an inevitable part of the learning process. In a fixed mindset, failure can be devastating, confirming our perceived limitations and leading to feelings of inadequacy. In a growth mindset, however, failure is seen as an opportunity to learn and grow. It's not an end point, but a stepping stone on the path to success. When we encounter setbacks, we should analyze what went wrong, identify lessons learned, and use that knowledge to inform our future efforts. Think of famous inventors or entrepreneurs who faced numerous failures before achieving their breakthroughs. Their resilience, their ability to learn from their mistakes and keep going, is a hallmark of a growth mindset. Sixthly, we need to be inspired by the success of others rather than feeling threatened by it. In a fixed mindset, the success of others can make us feel insecure and inadequate. We might compare ourselves negatively or even try to tear others down to make ourselves feel better. In a growth mindset, however, we see the success of others as a source of inspiration and learning. We can ask ourselves, what can I learn from their journey? What strategies did they use? What can I apply to my own life? Celebrating the achievements of others fosters a collaborative and supportive environment where everyone can thrive. Seventhly, we must consciously challenge our fixed mindset thoughts. We all have moments when those limiting beliefs creep in. The I can't do this, or I'm just not that kind of person. The key is to become aware of these thoughts and actively question their validity. Ask yourself, what evidence do I have to support this belief? Is there another way of looking at this situation? What would someone with a growth mindset think in this moment? By challenging these fixed mindset narratives, we can begin to replace them with more empowering, growth-oriented beliefs. Eighthly, we can cultivate a growth mindset by focusing on the process rather than just the outcome. When we are fixated solely on achieving a particular result, we can become discouraged if we don't see immediate success. However, when we focus on the effort, the learning, and the progress we are making along the way, we are more likely to persevere through challenges and find satisfaction in the journey itself. Celebrate small wins and acknowledge the effort you are putting in, regardless of the immediate outcome. Ninthly, we can create environments that foster a growth mindset. As leaders, educators, parents, and even as friends and colleagues, we have a responsibility to cultivate a culture that values learning, effort, and resilience. This means praising effort and progress, not just talent, providing constructive feedback that focuses on learning and improvement, and creating a safe space where mistakes are seen as opportunities for growth. And when we surround ourselves with people who embrace a growth mindset, it becomes easier for us to adopt it ourselves. Finally, remember that cultivating a growth mindset is an ongoing journey, not a destination. There will be times when we slip back into fixed mindset thinking, and that's okay. The key is to be aware of these moments, to acknowledge them, and to consciously choose to shift back towards a growth-oriented perspective. It requires patience, self-compassion, and a continuous commitment to learning and growth. The power of a growth mindset extends far beyond academic or professional success. It impacts our relationships, our well-being, and our overall sense of fulfillment. When we believe in our ability to grow and learn, we are more likely to take risks, to pursue our passions, and to live a life filled with purpose and meaning. We become more resilient in the face of adversity, more open to new experiences, and more likely to reach our full potential. Think about the incredible capacity for learning and adaptation that human beings possess. From infancy to old age, we are constantly learning and evolving. A growth mindset simply taps into this innate human ability and empowers us to take control of our own development. It's about embracing the idea that we are all works in progress, capable of continuous improvement and transformation. The world is constantly changing, presenting us with new challenges and opportunities. In such a dynamic environment, a growth mindset is not just beneficial, it is essential for thriving. It allows us to adapt, to innovate, and to embrace the unknown with courage and optimism. It empowers us to see obstacles not as roadblocks, but as puzzles to be solved, skills to be learned, and opportunities for growth. So I urge you today to embark on this journey of cultivating a growth mindset. Embrace challenges, value effort, learn from criticism, cultivate resilience, be inspired by others, challenge your fixed mindset thoughts, focus on the process, and create supportive environments. This is not just about achieving more. It's about living a richer, more fulfilling life, a life where you are constantly learning, growing, and becoming the best version of yourself. The potential within each and every one of you is limitless. Unlock it with the power of a growth mindset and watch as you soar to new heights. The journey of growth is a lifelong adventure, and I encourage you to embrace it fully, with open hearts and minds, ready to learn, ready to grow, and ready to become all that you are capable of being. The time to cultivate your growth mindset is now. The possibilities are endless. Believe in your ability to grow, and you will.